Now, the Visitors Centre was built in 1996, and it was built as the fundraising arm for the school. The reason being that many children who live in towns and cities have access to fundraising abilities, but if you live in the outback, it's a long way to go to do a sausage sizzle or something like that. So obviously there had to be another way to help to fundraise for any shortfalls that kids have, to purchase extra equipment, to get library books and other things that they need. They depend on us quite heavily, yes, for their fundraising. Well, when you come through our doors, you are welcomed by a very friendly team who will automatically say to you, welcome to the School of the Air, and where are you from? We're very interested in people who come through our door, and we offer people a 1.5 hour experience basically. So 10-minute film to see about the children of the school. We also offer a short history talk, and that gives us a bit of background information about the very beginnings of the school, which was about 70 or so years ago that we opened as a school. And then we also have a studio presentation in which we are able to give an overview of either a live class, if we're fortunate enough to have our teachers and students here and on air, or we can do a recorded presentation. I've been here since May, and I have found that nearly everybody who's walked through this door has had different expectations, and we've had everyone from family groups through to grandparents, former educators, and obviously because of our current situation in education around the world today, there's been a very much higher focus on how things are done here and how it's been done for so long and so successfully at the School of the Air. So we've had heaps of people come through who are just very curious, actually quite excited, and they anticipate something that will help them to understand how things used to work and how we hopefully would proceed in the future, perhaps in a better way. I think when they have the opportunity to actually see children responding to their teachers online live, that's always very exciting, and people do focus a lot on that. Unique point of difference is I don't think there are too many schools in the world that have got a visitor centre attached to it. And also, of course, it's looking into the world of the outback and how people live in remotely, and how they do their schooling and how families work and respond to education. So I think that is what people sort of appreciate, the differences and the hardships and the difficulties that people go through in order to give their children a really good education. And we support that in the Visitors Centre that way. Well, faces. Surprise. I'd say that there's a bit of awe, really, in a lot of people's faces, and a deep appreciation, a lot of questions, and a lot of, oh, that's amazing. You know, you've been doing this for so long and so well. So that kind of response is what we get. The Visitor Centre was built to actually help the school to fundraise. So we do focus on that. As a business, we obviously need to operate in order to survive, but we realise that the school needs us very much. So it's an opportunity to invite people to be part of that experience of supporting something that's worthwhile. So when we do that, we might ask them to donate towards things the children need. We invite people to come and take a front row seat. We'll invite them to look at the map and understand that they are in the largest classroom in the world. And then we say, please enjoy the experience of watching a great 10-minute movie about the school, and we'll come and talk to you later about a little history and how it all started. We would then move, after questions, to the auditorium where we can actually look into the classrooms and also look at the teachers and the students interacting. So what they will see, first of all, is at the start of a class, and then they will see a teacher introducing the class, and then the webcam will open up and there will be some faces of some students who would like to talk to their teachers. We have a chat box that opens up for students who want to enter into the class experience, who can type in their questions and responses, and experiences of watching streams through the class and different things that teachers bring into the lesson to make it interesting. And the conversations that go on between the teacher and the student. Now, our families are actually situated, the closest are about 95 kilometres away at Orange Creek, and the furthest away are on Anna Creek Station, 875 kilometres away. So it's a 1.3 million kilometre area that we're covering. But there are also some families who live outside Australia who also are accessing our services as far away as Saudi Arabia. I think what surprises people the most is the distances that people have to travel when they want to come into town, to come into in school week, which happens 4 times a year. That they're very passionate about bringing their families in as far away as I said, Anna Creek Station, which is a long, long way away, 875 kilometres, but they make a real effort to drive in and to be able to spend a whole week in town connecting with their other schoolmates and talking to their teachers and spending time just socialising. Well, it is our 70th year of operation since 1951. We have moved to having children from aged preschool year, which is 3.5 to 4 years starting age, through to the end of year 9. And then after that, children tend to go to boarding schools or go and use long-distance education. We've had people who've come through the school who have been very successful in their careers. And we've had authors, helicopter pilots, motivational speakers, probably a few brain surgeons in there if I look deeply enough. The people who've really had a great educational experience, and we notice that they seem to do very well when they leave the school. Well, we like to tell children we've had the Wiggles here because that's exciting, and Prime Ministers. Now, the other thing we've had, of course, are the royal families. Our most famous people were Princess Diana and Prince Charles, according to most, I would say, who came in 1983. And we tell stories about those guys wanting to sign our Wall of Fame, and we said no. And the reason being that we were afraid of having a heritage listing. So we've also had the Queen visit us in 2000, and she's been a few times. So they're probably the most notable people most people would recognise, I would say. I really enjoy talking to people about the history of the school, because every time I speak about it, I get a little bit more enthusiastic, to be honest with you. And I'd have to say that presenting each time, even though you might be telling the same story, you have a different energy level with each group of people that you talk to. And also it's very satisfying to see how much people appreciate hearing about the history of the school and the visitor centre. Definitely the thing that you would love the most would be seeing children talking to teachers online, face-to-face and real-time. It is a way that various tour leaders here at the centre give presentations to the public. Each has their own special flavour and unique way of presenting, so the experience is always fresh. It is a very important arm of the school. Without the visitors centre, children don't receive all of the benefits that children in communities and schools in our towns and cities receive easily. We can donate towards their libraries, their ICT services, their sports equipment, and other things that most children take for granted as receiving in our spaces in towns and cities. You obviously can't get those things if you live in the outback very easily. When you visit the School of the Year Visitors Centre, you'll know that any donation or anything that you spend in the shop will be helping to support the children's education